The ancient Vedic texts of India explain many scientific truths that even today we have not been able to replicate. Often when reading the Atharva Veda, the last of the four Vedas, we find a selection of magical charms and amulets, etc., that are often said to ward off disease and give us longevity, etc. However, these aspects are actually often translated in the wrong manner. They are not translated as per the traditional Vedic Shastras or the Sanskrit language. They are translated as per the mind of later Vedic commentators and also British and German translators and commentators on the Vedas themselves. What we need to understand is every term in the Vedic Sanskrit is quite elastic. It can mean several things. For example, Mitra and Varuna can mean Apana and Udana vayus, the down-moving breath and the up-moving breath. They can also mean the sun and the waters, and they can also mean air or oxygen, being Mitra, and Varuna, meaning the more gross or dense elements himself, sometimes even meaning hydrogen gas relating to the planet Saturn, which Varuna connects to as well. So these are just examples, but there are actually several different ways that we can interpret various words. So for example, Indra is not simply the god of heaven or a mystical deity that destroys the demon Vritra in the Rig Veda. Indra means he who is lord of the Indriyas, the senses. It also means Lord, just as we use Ishana, Ishwar and Bhagwan in later times. So it means a controller or a lord. And it also means a Senapati, or a commander of the army. And at other times, Indra means Vidyut, or lightning. Other times it means Prana or Vata, meaning breath or wind, or the Vata dosha in the body. It doesn't just simply mean the deity Indra. Depending on the verse itself in the Rig Veda or the Yajur Veda or Atharva Veda, depending on these, we have to translate the words accordingly, because the subject matter of the hymns often changes. It does not remain one and the same. So sometimes Rudra and Soma, for example, are synonyms for the Vaidya or Ayurvedic doctor. But other times they represent the biological humors in Ayurveda itself, the doshas. Rudra being more Pitta and Soma representing Ojas and Kapha dosha, for example, the vitality and the flame in the body. Other times Rudra means the breath or the Atman, the soul in the body. Soma, for example, sometimes means the manas, means the mind. Other times means chandramas, means the moon. So again, depending on the how the hymn is structured and what the exact subject nature of the hymn is, these terms will change and the language does become quite elastic. In the Atharva Veda, there is a lot of information regarding the Ayurvedic herbs that we use in later times, including haldi or haridra, which is turmeric, which is used for skin diseases. And it's very, very good in later time for skin diseases and also for other issues, diabetes, cataracts. It's also very good if taken with milk as boosting the ojas or the vitality in the body. It's very, very good, of course, for complexion, as we know. It helps improve our complexion used internally and externally. Externally can be used as an antiseptic. There are so many uses for turmeric. The Rig Veda also states the different qualities or gunas of the Vaidya or Ayurvedic doctor. as well. So, for example, when we read about Rudra or Soma, sometimes when it means the Vaidya or Ayurvedic doctor, sometimes it will relate to the properties and the qualities that the Ayurvedic doctor has, and also the qualities that they have to imbibe before actually undertaking that profession and remembering these things before treating patients. So it's a little bit like taking the Hippocratic Oath. And we see certain things in Susruta and Charaka Samhitas as well that also connect to these. However, the Vedas have a more cryptic nature. But people have made it even more cryptic. It doesn't have to be as cryptic as what people make out it to be. Because again, the Sanskrit language is very elastic, and actually, in every hymn, we can have various meanings on various levels. So we can translate them in regard to the external world, in regards to Sankhya, the Pancha Mahabhutas, the five elements, the Jnanendriyas, or the sensory organs, the Karmendriyas, or the organs of actions. We can translate them according to the Mahatattva, the cosmic intellect, the Ahankara, the ego, or the I-ness. There's so many things that we can translate it to. We can also translate according to Jyotish, or the science of astrology and astronomy, in regards to the different grahas or planets. So, for example, there, Rudra can relate to various planets, including Ketu, the south lunar node, and also to Mars or Mangal, as well as the fiery nature of other planets, even the Sun. And also, on an inner level, he connects to Mahakala or Shanidev, planet Saturn, as the Lord of Great Death. So again, depending on the hymn, we can translate even Rudra, not only meaning the Vaidya and meaning Pitta Dosha, but according to different planets within the science of Jyotish itself and their own connotations. So reading into the Vedic text is quite a beautiful thing. And again, we can use our own creativity based upon the traditional Shastras or texts as well. I'll give another example. Quite often, the Vedas speak of what people see as the five people, or five races, five tribes. What this actually means is the Pancha Mahabhutas. It means the five elements in the Sankhya system. And these five elements are fundamental to creation itself. Everything in the physical world here is a creation of the Pancha Mahabhutas, of the five great elements. Right from Akasha, or ether and space, to Vayu, which is water, wind or air, oxygen itself, Agni, or Tejas, meaning light, radiance, and fire, down to more gross elements, which derive from fire, which are Jala, or water, and finally the gross matter, Prithvi, or earth itself. And each one of these has its own subtle subdivisions. However, from the verses in the Rig Veda, when it does mention the five people or Pancha itself, it does mean that it is the five great elements it's talking about, the Sankhya system. Terms such as Daksha, for example, don't mean Daksha as in Shiva's father-in-law. Daksha means intellect, or one who is wise, one who is has great intellect. And he is born from the primal reality itself. And so he is, in fact, the Mahatattva, the cosmic intellect, and also means the Buddhi in man localized as well. So again, from the term Daksha, we can actually see many things internally and externally from that, as well as also just meaning a very wise man as well. So when we're looking at the Vedic text, there's a lot of depth there as well. I've mentioned also that the Ratha, or the chariot, also means the body, and it can mean any one of the Pancha Koshas, the five bodily sheaths, or any one of the three shariras, or the three bodies, the causal body, the subtle body, or the gross or physical body. The chariot of the Ashwins, for example, can mean any one of these things with its triple seats. The chariot of Indra often said to have 10 wheels, and these 10 wheels represent the 10 pranas or life breaths in man, known in yoga. So it also means the yogic body, but externally it also relates to physical apparatuses that we used in earlier yugas or earlier periods as well. The Treta Yuga, for example, was a period where a lot of these things towards the end, when Sri Rama came on earth, that these things began to manifest in a physical form. And so physical technology took such an in-depth form that even today, as I mentioned, we cannot replicate. The DNA samples of Varuna and Mitra were taken to create the seers Agastya and Vasishta. This cannot be done today. We cannot create perfect people from DNA samples. And also the Kurus in the Mahabharata were also cloned as well. Duryodhana was himself, along with his other brothers and his sister, all clones, all created in ghee pots themselves, if we read the Mahabharata. So again, these things seem very much like they're sci-fi, but actually they did happen in ancient times. And again, today we're only simply rediscovering these things, especially in the West after a long period of decline in the intellect due to Christianity suppressing science and wisdom, and then of course in the East with Islam also doing the same. So again, we're going through an awakening period at the moment, and this is a special time in history where we begin to start revisiting and looking at the Vedic texts again, especially the Rig Veda, and start recognizing the deeper sciences within there. Namaste.